Subsolutionaries, real threat or a hoax, exposing sleeper cells, stolen drones, and synagogue attack. We're talking about it tonight on the M.E.D.I.A show. Welcome, everybody, tapping in, 9 p.m., Monday through Friday. Y'all know the routine. Get in the comment section. Let me know where you're watching from, what city, what state, what platform. Shouts to everybody that's going to tap in on X. X yesterday, we had a technical issue, but I can see right now we all dialed in on X. Appreciate all of y'all for tapping in. 100%, 1000%. Y'all know the routine. I want to see some energy in the comment section. I wait all day to make sure I'm sitting down and chopping it up with y'all. And today we got a lot of information. And guys, obviously, you know, we are fundraising. We are now 193 $100 donors away from our goal. Our firearms basics classes are free to all because of your support. Tonight we're going to go over a few things, y'all. It's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world, and I want to make sure that we are talking about these things and tying them back into solutions. All right, because like I said last night on the show, some of these things 1000% look weird. And in the process of these things looking weird, it's our job to communicate them, be objective and nuanced about it, and at the same time, lean you all in towards solutions. What's up, G Smooth says, finally caught it live from the beginning from Toronto. Love your content. Appreciate you, G Smooth. Quentin Roy, Maj, what's up? How you? Wild Self, fellow solutionary, all the way over there from South Carolina. Appreciate y'all all for tapping in. Guys, tonight's goal is going to be a big goal. Let's see if we can raise $1,000 tonight. That's 10 people giving at the $100 level over at givesendgo.com/solutionary. I think it's pinned to the top of the chat, but it's also on the screen underneath you. Guys, if you're watching on X, please hit the repost button, share the space all over the place. We need all of the help that we can get. Being this close to the end of fundraising is like being this like running a long race. Or you know how you're driving somewhere and it's like an 8-hour drive, 6-hour drive, and the first 5 or 6 or 7 hours feels like it just goes by. And then that last hour, that last half hour is like absolute horrendous. That's what the last bit of this fundraising is. And for those of you that are not aware, I am the founder of Black Guns Matter and Solutionary University. We have spent the last 9 or 10 years traveling around the country, teaching people, beginners, in all types of demographics, but mostly the urban demographic, on firearms basics. And all of that has happened because of your voluntary donations. So we want everybody, if you rock with what we're doing, you're tapping into the show, you're sharing the information, you're sharing the show all over the place, please, guys, let's pitch in. We have some really, really good people that have been longtime supporters. If you're watching on X, same thing. It's the pinned post, givesendgo.com/solutionary. We are going to go for the largest donation amount that we've gotten on a live show, which is $1,000, and that's 10 of you donating at the $100 level. Now let's get into the show. Fort Campbell offers a $5,000 reward in theft of 4 AI-powered military drones. Now, I know y'all are going to say, first of all, who can get onto a military base? Because all of tonight's show is going to be about the Iran situation. And I'm talking about the Iran situation because several reasons. One, we should not be there. That's one. Two, this current administration campaigned on not being there. 3, regardless of what we campaigned on, and we are there even if we should not be there. I know some of you don't like this statement, but we are at war. I know some of you on the right don't want to hear it as a war because you don't want to acknowledge the fact that this administration used the War Powers Resolution to circumnavigate the Constitution to not have Congress vote on war. Regardless, this is where we are. And some of you on the left want to just say, well, we're at war and they're not or whatever and da-da-da-da. Listen, if your United States government was blowing up and bothering people for a very long time, and you say for 47 years, there's been 1,000 Americans that have been killed by Iran or the Iranian government or paid for terrorists, whatever, there's going to be blowback. And some of that collateral damage is blowback. So tonight we're going to talk about this Iran situation. We may talk about it for a little while because it's tied back into your solutions while highlighting some things that just look fucking strange. And a $5,000 reward for 4 AI-powered military drones. Do you know how fucking expensive military drones are? So certain things look strange. How the fuck does somebody get on a military base and steal AI-powered military drones. Why are you guys only asking for a $5,000 motherfucking reward for those? But let's read the article. Again, guys, make sure you hit the like button, and I want everybody on the channel to subscribe. Everybody. Bob Mears says, I have a Black Guns Matter t-shirt you sold me at NRA in Dallas. Yeah, that was a while ago. That was the year that I took a corner when Chris Cox was second in command over there. I took a corner because I didn't have a booth. And I was selling them t-shirts out of the suitcase. If that's what you're talking about, I'm pretty sure that's the year that you're talking about. I think that's what you're talking about. All right? Bob Mears says, soldiers steal ordnance all the time. Maybe it was the soldiers. Or maybe it's a sleeper cell. We're going to come into all of that conversation tonight. And again, I want everybody to comment. I want to hear you guys back and forth. And I want everybody to support. We got a donation goal today. If you guys are on YouTube, don't do it on Super Chat. Do it on Gifts and Go. I got my email up. I will be getting your emails directly for everybody that donates. You don't have to donate at the $100 level. If you want access to all of the classes and curriculums, all of this transformative information to become the person that is capable of defense, capable of stopping the bleed, capable of understanding civics and all of those other different things, be a $100 donor. I'll have your email. When I have your email, I'll send you access to all of the classes. So again, we want everybody to do that tonight, but if you can't give it the $100 level, just give it whatever level you can. So let's read this. Fort Campbell this week announced that someone stole 4 AI-powered drones from the military installation. Oh, these guys. Now, I want to say something racially funny, but I can't tell what these dudes are, if these are the pictures of the guys. All right? Fort Campbell this week announced that someone stole 4 AI-powered drones from the military installation, and the Department of Army Criminal Investigation Division is offering a reward up to $5,000 for information leading to the suspect's arrest. The 4 Skydio X-10D drone systems were stolen sometimes between, what? Between November the 21st, 24, or the 24th of 2025. These drone systems were last seen on the post the morning of November the 21st at the 326th Division Engineer Battalion Building, 6955 Ashau Valley Road, Fort Campbell. All right, this is what they look like. So, I'm sorry if this sounds like last night's theme, guys, but this shit looks weird. So y'all just talking about this now, and this shit got stolen before Christmas? That doesn't seem weird to you? Dr. Umar voice. You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? I do. Let's read some more. The Skydio website says these AI-enhanced drones have 4 attachment bays, thermal imaging, and other camera features intended for government use. The serial numbers for the missing drones are, whatever they are. Surveillance video of the 2 suspects was also released. Individuals with credible information are encouraged to contact Army CID, da-da-da-da-da, yada, 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 yada. Now, let me say this, y'all. I, in no way, shape, or form, trust that I don't trust the government. And this is unfortunate because we're supposed to be able to be like, no, I can see what they mean. I can see where they could coming from. I'm generally an objective dude. But government has been so horrible, and this is metastasized and grown since the year 2020 with me. I very rarely, I am a student of Malcolm X. I'm a student of history. I see how many times the government lies. So now, anytime something the government says, I automatically have a very healthy dose of skepticism. And that's unfortunate. Or fortunate. Because you know how they say, you can either be intelligent or you can trust government. Not both. So when I see around the time that the United States government is now saying, a whole season or 2 later, yo, we lost 4 of these drones. Initially, I go, I don't believe you. You're lying. It's tied into something else. You're about to use them for some wild shit. That's the first thing that I think. And I usually could turn that disbelief off. But then what usually happens is I see other little things that make me go, huh? And it's a coinky-dink. And I don't believe in coinky-dinks. So the first story tonight being this, at this Fort Campbell, we stole a gang of, AI drones. The first question goes, that's a little strange, but it's not that deep. But it is strange. It is strange. And to recognize it for being strange, I start going, all right, it's a little weird, but it may not be the end of the world. Okay? Then other things start popping off. Like this. The FBI says today, and I'm going to play this video very shortly. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear it and all that other good stuff, right? The FBI releases this video, and they're basically saying, yo, bro, just in case a mass attack happens, attackers usually do X, Y, and Z. FBI's post, before most mass attacks, attackers often show concerning behaviors that exhibit signs that they are on a path to violence. You may be in a unique position to observe these signs in someone you know. Knowing the signs and sharing your concerns could be the key to preventing an attack of mass violence in your community. Learn more at fbi.gov/prevent. Let's play this real quick.
Research has proven mass shooters don't snap. They are created through a series of unfortunate life events and stressors that can build upon each other. In that process, they show signs we can look for to get them help before tragedy occurs. Now we are asking for your help by watching and listening for these signs in your community that are signaling something is wrong. Being a hero doesn't always involve running towards danger. You can be a hero by knowing signs that help us prevent danger.
Now, let me stop it right there, y'all. Let me be very clear. We got a class on this. See, when you tap into the show, sometimes I start telling y'all stuff a long time ago, not because I'm the sharpest person on the planet. I'm not building rockets and shit. I'm not a rocket scientist. I do, however, look at what happens in patterns and pay attention. And I'm not saying it's like, some people be like, oh, it's just pattern recognition, like on a dog whistle statement. However, when I look at how corrupt the government is and has been, when you know about Operation Northwoods and this and that and this, you start to go, hey, guys, if we're at war in Iran and if there's sleeper cells, or, hey, guys, maybe you should have your head on a swivel as solutionaries. It's not my job to talk to y'all about what the problem is. My job is to highlight an issue. And then after I highlight the issue, my job is to give us solutions in the form of information and things that you can actually do to not be a victim. So when I'm on the internet and we're talking about, hey guys, we have an understanding imminent threat class. And when I say, hey guys, you guys should take a Stop the Bleed class based on lived experience. My friend getting shot in the head, me having to hold the skull in, insert any list of things. All right? Then later on, the FBI, when they start, I'm saying it because Stop the Bleed class could mean you cut your arm or leg or finger or something, hand, when you in the kitchen opening up a can with a can opener. It could mean that. But when the FBI starts saying shit like this, I immediately start going, you're lying or you prepping us to get ready for a false flag situation. That's what I think. I don't trust the government. But let's play a little bit more and see what they say.
Look for people around you who are struggling. They may have changed in a way that makes you worried. FBI BAU research shows there are common behaviors to look for. It's the coworker who feels deeply wronged and can't let it go. It's the patient's family member who holds the hospital responsible for their loved one's pain.
Now, some of this shit is rat shit. They're trying to get you to be a rat. See something, say something. I want to be clear about that too.
It's a client who is going through crisis, has withdrawn from treatment, and might be thinking about self-harm. Research shows that someone is much less likely to become a shooter if someone notices these signs and tells someone. We can all be heroes simply by noticing behavior changes. caring for our communities, and saying something when we are worried.
I don't believe that you need to say something to the law enforcement. I think in those situations, if you do not know the person, you need to keep your head on the swivel and pay attention. But if they're talking about somebody that is in your family, I'm not mad at you guys saying, hey man, everything good. So this generally is good. So looks strange that the FBI is saying it, but isn't out of the realm of like, hey, let's do a little bit of preventative maintenance. I cannot allow my bias and my disdain for the United States government, not because I dislike America, no shit like that. I just don't trust government. So I can't allow my disdain for government to turn into, like ignoring some legitimate, statements. Some of these things that they're saying are legit. When you see things, you pay attention. You're a part of a community. You in a community. You in a neighborhood. Just pay attention to shit. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, per se. Okay? Let's play a little bit more.
Talk through your concerns with someone you trust and make a plan for how to help the person who is struggling. Be a hero. Know the signs. Speak up.
I'm not mad at that. I am not mad at that. Okay? And when I'm not mad at the government saying things that seems to make sense, I'm objective enough to say, you know what? I'm going to put my bias down with the government. And it seems like every time I do that and give them a little bit of room, I kind of wanted to believe in the year 2020. I wanted to believe 2 weeks to slow the spread. I was far too intelligent to fully believe it, but I wanted to believe it because it seemed like it made sense until I got some information about herd immunity. I know it seems like 1,000 years ago, but it was 6 years ago. March of 2020 was 6 years ago. I know it blew by, but it was almost a decade. But I knew at that time, I was like, nah, I still don't really trust y'all, but I get it. I get you saying, hey, let's try this thing where we just fall back for a little bit and we don't really be too much in each other's face, like the flu, because that's what I thought it was, right? We sold a lot of them fucked up vaccine shirts at that time. But nonetheless, I still was kind of like, okay. And that's what I got about that video that we just played. I was like, okay, see something, say something. The FBI is saying, hey, man, if we are at war, even though we don't want to call it a war, even though we started this shit and we preemptively did something that placed us in this scenario, cool. I'm still going to say something. Then other things keep happening like this. Breaking. The FBI has warned police departments in California that Iran wants to retaliate for American attacks by launching offensive drones against the West Coast. Drones? Spidey senses. Drones? Right at the same time, y'all said, oh yeah, somebody stole 4 drones from us in November. Maybe it's a coinky-dink. Maybe it's a coinky-dink. It could be a coinky-dink. Possibly a coinky-dink. The FBI has warned police departments in California that Iran wants to retaliate for American attacks by launching offensive drones against the West Coast, according to an alert reviewed by ABC News. Let's see what they say. It may just be another coincidence.
The FBI warning of possible Iranian drone attacks on our homeland. A new alert reviewed by ABC News revealing Iran's aspirations to conduct a surprise attack specifically against unspecified targets in California. The FBI saying it's warned police departments across the Golden State now of strikes by unmanned aerial vehicles or drones as tensions rise in the Middle East. Let's get straight to our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Kontersky. Aaron, what are you learning?
We've reviewed an alert that came within the last couple of weeks, Kira, just recently from the FBI to law enforcement agencies up and down the California coastline, warning that Iran is aspiring now to perhaps launch some kind of a retaliatory attack on the U.S. mainland using drones on the West Coast.
Now, let's stop right there for a second. The Spidey senses is going a little bit further up. all at the same time, y'all want to tell me about the drones that have been stolen since before Christmas. Then y'all want to tell me that the FBI has credible evidence that the bad guys, somehow, the United States government now knows that Iran wants to blow up shit with drones on the West Coast. My spidey senses then go up even more and go, okay, how did y'all get this information? And then that's the beauty of the hustle. They could say, well, it's classified. Only those in the know, it's a need-to-know basis. You can say all of that shit. And that's fair. But if you get to say that, I get to go, this looked like bullshit to me. It looked like a scare tactic or a prep for a false flag. Yesterday's show, we had a discussion about me saying, yo, bro, things look strange. And yo, bro, I don't trust government. And yo, bro, and if too many things start to be right back to back and government is on point, I start to go, y'all telling me to look over here, I'm going to pay attention over here. However, as solutionaries, we do not exist in the space of fear. We exist in the space of preparation. So when I keep telling y'all, hey guys, donate. If you donate over $100, you get all of the classes, including Stop the Bleed, including Understanding Imminent Threat, including Firearms Basics, Civics, and the other classes. I'm saying this because we need to think about preparation, whether it's just for some random crazy person or if it's an actual threat. But I, in no way, shape, or form am like the government is just kind of hooking us up and telling us this, because it's the same government that tries to make sure that we don't have guns in the first place. So when I hear these things, and as my spidey senses continue to escalate, I start to go, karmically, y'all trying to tell us that y'all about to do something to us to kickstart all of the support for the war in Iran and justify all of these ground troops going over there. That's what it sounds like to me. 9/11, in my opinion, you don't have to agree with me, 9/11 is what justified the so-called war on terror. And to my understanding, jet fuel does not melt steel beams. You rocket science people might know more than me. I'm not professing to know everything. I just know that we spent a decade, 2 decades in Afghanistan and handed the country of Afghanistan back to the Taliban. So when I hear 2 weeks to slow the spread, and I kind of understand, but I'm like, no, thank you. And then it turns into 2 years, and then everybody's happy that they can take their masks off on a plane. Everybody can't buy a RV and avoid planes. Everybody, you understand? Everybody doesn't have the thought process to go, fuck this situation. There's some of us, solutionaries, that are more outspoken, but everyone isn't there yet. So we got to be the people that speaks up and informs and empowers the people that aren't there just yet. Some people actually still believe that government is there to help. Some people really believe that. I'm not one of those motherfucking people at all. But when we look at that totality of things, and when we look at, man, you guys really want to go get this Iran thing off. Yesterday, I said, it will be an absolute foolish move to think you could just bang Iran from airstrikes. Everybody know that's not the case. Well, the people that pay attention to History Channel, military shit, all of that, like paying attention to graphs and charts and demographics and all of this and ground games and all of that, some of us is just interested in that type of shit, right? It just seems cool, right? Guys like, or people that's just like, if you 79 years old like me, you was watching Conan and fucking just Rambo and just interesting shit, right? If you think you're gonna just bang Iran with airstrikes, you got another fucking thing coming. That's one. 2, like we said yesterday, Tehran alone has 10 million people. Iran as a nation has about 90 million people. You think you're going to control that space without putting boots on the ground? And in order to, in any way, shape, or form, meaningfully do it, you're going to need about 200,000. 200,000 boots on the ground. So when I notice, and I know that there's massive pushback to this war in Iran, the left going to disagree with whatever Trump does. And that's not necessarily from a legitimate, like we are legitimately disagreeing with this because we're not warmongers, because the left was just pushing the fucking war in Ukraine. Okay? So the left isn't righteous in their pushback against Trump and his war. They just don't like anything Republican. So they're going to give pushback. So you got to split there. But people on the right, even though the media, the right is using their polls to act like most of America's push it like in support of this Iran situation on the right, that's not true. Most of the pundits, a lot of the pundits that I was like, you guys are morons, that just was going with whatever Trump was doing. As we talked about in a few shows back, even those guys that are clowns are like, nah, this doesn't make sense. So you're not getting the support for the war that you thought you was going to get. And you lying saying it's only going to be a few weeks, 2 weeks to slow the spread, 6 weeks and this operation is done. Whatever. You say it that way. And if you don't get your objectives done, which these objectives are, based on what Trump said, to knock out their nuclear capabilities. That's what they said. But I remember in June of 2025, when you said we did that, when you blew them up and dropped shit on them. That's how we know the airstrike shit don't work. You just said in June, when you hit them 3 different spots, Fort Campbell, I forget the other 2 cities, where they had their nuclear armaments, you said you turned them into rubble. That was less than a year ago. Now you're saying our objective is to stop their nuclear capabilities. And you told us, hey, they just told us in the sit down and negotiation that they had whatever 80% capability, which I, again, don't believe, but okay, cool. Now that you're still not getting the support that you thought you was going to get, now the FBI and everybody's telling us we lost some drones. The Iranians is thinking about attacking us with drones on the West Coast. If you see something, say something. And a host of other things. To me, Spidey senses is through the motherfucking roof. I got locks under this hoodie. Them bitches is antennas. I'm paying attention. But the whole time I've been paying attention, telling everybody, take the damn Stop the Bleed and Understanding Imminent Threat course. And some of y'all lamed out. Look, I'm going to pick on y'all a little bit. Not too much. We all family in the show. Again, guys, make sure you hit the like button. I want everybody to subscribe to the channel. All right, we all family here. By show of hands in the chat, I want to hear from you. How many people in chat have taken our Stop the Bleed course? Or have not? Tell me in the chat if you have or have not taken the Stop the Bleed course. I want to hear from you. Legit. I want to legitimately hear from you. I want to hear from people that have taken, if you think something looks suspect, and I believe it looks suspect. How many people in the chat? Dark Lord Ambrosia says, I have not. Who else? Kymer Shadow took it. Bookworm took it. Who else has not? Tell me if y'all took it or if y'all did not take it. Every single person, and some of y'all on Twitter. Kymer Shadow says, also recertified for basic life support with my company 2 weeks ago. Squared away. I appreciate that. I like that answer. Squared away. Right? Every single person, some of y'all just not going to comment. Y'all afraid. I'm not making fun of y'all. I promise. I'm telling y'all, these things are important. And when we get to a point where government is kind of like telling you, government is always very reactionary. They are not solutionary. They're after the fact. And if they telling you shit ahead of time, it's probably some Hegelian dialect or some slick shit going on, which means you're still behind the 8 ball. So when I was telling everybody, yo, take the Stop the Bleed. So when we went and said, let's get Gabriel from Blackwell Training Group to create content and make this class available to everyone. Quentin said he missed the question. The question is, how many people in the chat have actually taken our Stop the Bleed class? Y'all don't lame out. Jump in the comment section. We family here. It's less than 100 of y'all in here. I ain't tripping. I am not tripping. I like when there's a small class because a small, show because we get to really chop it up with each other. Quentin says he has. All right? We really get to chop it up with each other. So I'm not judging y'all. I'm just saying 4 people have responded out of 100 people that's watching. And this is what I'm talking about. Don't be afraid to say, damn, I kind of dropped the ball there. I am right now not talking to a lot of people. And some people are mad at me and my family, my friends, because I am focused on a goal right now. I am tremendously focused on a goal. I am not letting anything negative in my space. If you got a bad attitude or you emailing me, I can't even hear what you're talking about right now because I have a goal. One is to finish this fundraising shit. D Simp says I have not taken the class. Big Rob says, also, I have had a free one set up at the college I work for all the guys in the trades because of the work we do. Terry says, have taken in-person preparation classes with the County Department of Health. I'm telling y'all, we got to dial in. Sometimes you got to close out the world and really, really focus up because I want to be right. I want to be righteous. I want to be in good position. And I got to shut the noise of the world out sometimes to focus on what's real, especially with my personality type. I'm not all the way zen. I'm not zen. I'm working towards being zen. And my acknowledgement that I'm not zen and working on that is a part of going in a direction. So I got to keep my mind very, very positive and upbeat. I have to. I'm saying this to y'all. Sometimes the noise of all of these things, we focus on the noise and the argument and the going back and forth instead of looking at the signs that surround us saying, I should be learning this. Sometimes you think it's about me trying to just get y'all to buy shit, buy the hoodies, blackundsmatter.shop, right? Get y'all to do X, Y, and Z. It's not about that. It's about, I know an answer to something. I've seen things that make me go, hey, we got to do this. Listen to what Big Rob just said. Big Rob just said, working in the mechanical rooms can fuck your world all the way up. 1,000%. What he means by that is, if you in a mechanical shop and you've seen people get limbs, arms, fingers, things of that nature impacted negatively, you start to take safety very seriously. When you have RSO'd or you have taught classes and people are on your gun line and you've been places where people have killed themselves in a gun range, when you're the RSO, you're paying attention to everything moving when you've been exposed to certain levels of trauma. It's what it is. So my exposure to trauma makes me go, yo, y'all got to pay attention to this. Wild Selt said he's part way through the Stop the Bleed course. The Stop the Bleed course, all of the courses are video modules. You click them and you watch them on your own, at your own pace. Okay? But start them. Get them. Everybody in here that has not taken any of the courses, let me tell you the truth. The Stop the Bleed course is $50. All right? It's $50 by itself. The Stop the Bleed course is $50. You can get, and the other classes are different prices, right? You can get access to all of the classes by being a donor at $100. And it's 5 classes that you have for the rest of your life. I'm just telling y'all, like, I'm not in the business of trying to sell y'all shit. I'm in the business of communicating with the small amount of people that tap into the show every night. And if y'all are tapping into me every night, you're already thinking about things differently than the people that watch. I don't fucking know. One of them goofballs. You tap into me. Yeah, it's entertaining, right? But you tap into me for actual solutions and perspective. Okay? You tap into Andrew Tate because he's like funny. Andrew Tate doesn't present a fucking solution to anything. Nick Fuentes doesn't present a fucking solution to anything. They talk about stuff and they say things that are funny. Sometimes racism is kind of funny when you do the joke right with the intent, right? Especially with guys. Guys rag on each other all the time. So I'm not saying it like everybody's got to be snowflakes. However, those guys are entertainers on streams that have nothing up for you to take that actually improves your life. So when I'm talking to y'all, y'all are the 3% in the Revolutionary War that was willing to bust their gun. The small amount of people that's actually willing to do something. So when I say this to y'all, I'm saying it to y'all because I want y'all to be the cream of the crop that's going to lead other people. But you can't lead people if you're not adding them skills to your repertoire. So if I say you can help somebody else, because look at all of the shit that's happened. Look at this lineup of events tonight. Oh, we lost 4 drones. The FBI's like, hey, see something, say something. Then another FBI story is going, hey, we heard that Iran want to do something with drones in California. I start going, this looks weird. Let me make sure the solutionaries are dialed the fuck in. And you can be dialed in for less money. Again, the Stop the Bleed course is $49. Donate $50 and get all of the classes, and you have actual fucking help somebody else, as well as a lifetime access to all of these classes. It's not about selling you. It's about preparing you. I'm straight. I promise you. I'll be fine. Me and mine will be fine. I promise you we'll be fine. I'm already looking at a Resvani tank. Anybody in the chat know what a Resvani tank is? I do. I want a tank. Okay? My point in saying all of this is I know how to stop a bleed. I was raised in North Philadelphia. My situational awareness is very, very on point. I want to translate these things to you because as government starts saying shit like this, I start going, yikes. Let's play a little bit more.
The alert that we reviewed said an uncorroborated report suggested that unidentified Mexican cartel leaders had authorized attacks using drones carrying explosives, so they know that capability exists. And this separate alert that we've reviewed, Kira, says that Iran has those same kinds of aspirations. So the U.S. has broadly known for some time that drones could be deployed against the homeland. We know that Iran has been using drones significantly in this 12-day-old war with the United States. That's what killed the first 6 U.S. service members in this war. But now the FBI is specifically warning police agencies in California along the Pacific coastline that Iran is aspiring to use them to attack in the West.
So
I appreciate them telling a story, but one of the damn t-shirts that we have is the most effective devil in America. So I take these things with a grain of salt. Be prepared for these things. One of my Muslim friends, Tone Trump, said something that I think is such a key, and he gets it from his faith, right? He said, they believe trust Allah, but tie your camel, which means, yeah, you trust God, but pay attention. So I appreciate them telling us this, and if it's true, great, good reporting and all of that. But media is the most effective devil in America. So I want us all to be prepared regardless. Do I think that this is just going to be Iran? Fuck no. The United States government, when they wanted during the Bay of Pigs, when they wanted to put a missile base in Cuba, and Fidel Castro and that team was like, no, thank you. They conspired to blow up a United States naval ship and then blame it on Cuba so they could make the move happen, so they could rush Cuba. This is not like heavy, deep science. This has already been proven to be real. The United States government saying we're going to blow up one of our own joints and blame it on them. What's one of the best ways to get Americans to go fight? Pick on another American? So many people are giving pushback to this war that they like, we got to figure it out, champ. Regardless of if it's a false flag or if it's government sponsored or if it's an actual sleeper cell, you should be fucking ready. Another show of hands. In the chat, how many people, the vast majority of the time, go outside with a tourniquet and or stop the IFAK, individual first aid kit, or EFAK, emergency first aid kit? Tell me. How many people? I want to hear from y'all. How many people in the chat walk around with a first aid kit or a tourniquet? I want to hear from you. First aid kit, tourniquet. How many people got one on them right now? Quentin says, not generally, but I got one in the range. Bookworm says, I have a kit in my car. Does that count? Yeah, as long as you in your car. Kymer Shadow says he keep it in the trunk. Take it out your trunk, Kymer Shadow. People think Delectable Dysentery says neither. Big Rob says all 3 cars plus my adult children. Let me tell y'all something about why you shouldn't put it in your trunk. If you get into a car accident, let's say somebody rear ends you, right? And somebody's impacted. Pause. And you can't get to the emergency first aid kit in your trunk. It's not, do you have it? It's, is it accessible where you are? D Simp says he got his in the trunk too. Here's where you put it, guys. You keep one. One's in my bag with me right now, right? It's a few other things around. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't show it on YouTube, it's a few other things around. You know what I'm saying? My point is, if you don't have access to that because your car get turned over or whatever, you might as well not have it. Here's where you put it in your vehicles. That little pocket in the doorway, you could do the center console too, but make sure that the center console is one of them joints that's got like a lock on it, not the one that just opens. The one that like you got to pull the thing for it to open. But in your door, there's a little thing, and a lot of times you got like the coffee cup joint and the door panel, not the panel itself, but the little thing right next to your leg. Slide it right in the side of there. Make sure you got it prepped and open too. Because if you get smacked into, you got to be able to grab it. If your car turn over, you got to be able to grab it. So that's a better way to place that. It's not just do you have it, is will it be accessible? Okay? That's like the dude that, I ain't going to pick on y'all too much. The dude, Detroit Urban Survival, saying you shouldn't carry a gun with a round in the chamber. You got the gun, and the time that it takes to rack a round is negligible. You out your fucking mind, boy. What's wrong with you? Boy, with your crazy ass. My point in saying this is, these things are about preparation. Okay, Terry says, should it be in the back seat? If you in a car accident and your car flip over, is it still in the back seat? Where does it go? As opposed to you packing it in that side joint where it's going to hold in a little bit. You feel me? Or the center console that has a lock on it. If you put your hat in the back seat and you hit the brakes too hard, that shit going to slide, fall off the back seat, and fall under your damn front seat chair. So again, I appreciate the media telling us this story. I take it with a grain of salt. I don't believe that it's just Iran doing these things. And if it is Iran, or if it's the United States government, doesn't matter. I want us all to understand imminent threat, to understand situational awareness, to understand stop the bleed. I want us all to do that. Let's listen some more.
So why California? Why the West?
Good question. And that's not exactly clear, but perhaps there's thought that Iran has these things pre-positioned on ships that are still in international waters or that could float through international waters. We know that we've previously reported, Kira, on Iran's desire to perhaps activate sleeper cells in the United States, although that's certainly far from confirmed or far from anything operational as far as law enforcement knows. It's not clear why the West Coast as opposed to the East Coast, but that's what the alert from the FBI says.
All right, Aaron Katursky, we'll stay on top of it. Thank you so much.
So Main Man just said, it's not confirmed with the sleeper cells. We not sure. We're not sure about the sleeper cells. That hasn't been confirmed. That's what Main Man on ABC just said. See what Big Ted said.
Are you concerned about sleeper cells? There's been discussion of that.
Look, the risk of terrorism right now is quite high. We tragically saw in Austin, Texas, just last weekend, we saw a terrorist attack. We also saw another terrorist attack in New York City. There is a heightened danger of terrorism right now, and I will say it is particularly indefensible that Democrats have shut down the Department of Homeland Security while we are facing an enhanced terrorist risk. The Department of Homeland Security exists to guard against terrorist attacks. The danger has never been higher than right now, particularly after 4 years of open borders under Joe Biden. We know that radical Islamic terrorists entered this country, and there's a vulnerability all across this country. It is disgraceful and indefensible for the Democrats to vote party line not to fund the Department of Homeland Security right now. We need to open it up and fully fund it.
Got it. Thank you.
Now, Cruz and others are always going to make it about their political angle. And this is a theme that I want y'all to also understand. Cruz didn't tell you nothing to do. He just told you shit to be afraid of. He ain't tell you what to do. He ain't point you in the direction of a Stop the Bleed class, not just because we got one. He ain't point you in the direction of, hey, in your locality, you should find a bomb shelter area in your area just in case. He didn't say any solution-based thing. He made it about Biden and the open borders, which I 100% agree with. But the Biden shit was an absolute fucking debacle. Right? 1,000% debacle. Dark Lord Ambrosia says something that's just key right here. Tell me that if these sleeper cells are in the country, the only reason it is because the CIA arranged for it to happen. The CIA's job is to keep us at war. Outside of the fact that the military-industrial complex, that's, you know what I mean? There's a great book called, I forget, it escapes me. It'll come to me in a quick minute. It's about the CIA and Dulles and all of that. But anyway, regardless of if it's CIA or orchestrated or if it's legit Iranian sleeper cells, our position is to be fucking head on a swivel and aware. I don't want us to get caught into the weeds of who's doing it. I want us to pay attention to make sure it don't get done to us. If a motherfucker a sleeper cell and he do some wild shit, I'm going, man, listen. If a motherfucker is the CIA and it doesn't matter. Okay? But when we hear Cruz and these others say these things, they're going to politicize it. They're going to make fun of Joe Biden. They're going to say Joe Biden. Then they're going to say the Democrats not paying for Homeland Security. It's the Democrats. All of y'all are pretty much the same. The right wants to spend money on the military-industrial complex and war. They are overspending. As much as they talked about the Biden administration and spending, this current administration is far outpacing Biden-level spending. It's not me making it up. Just go look. Okay? So they're going to politicize it that way. And that's what they do. But they present absolutely no solution. So, main man just said, from ABC said, well, it's not confirmed and we just want to make sure that. Cruz said, absolutely, I think that shit pop. Let's see what Trump says about it.
They try to hit us back. Have you been briefed about how many Iran sleeper cells there could be inside the U.S. right now?
I have been, and a lot of people came in through Biden with this stupid open border.
They always gonna politicize it. Maybe Trump gonna tell us a solution. Maybe he gonna tell us something. But he let in. The question was, have you heard about the sleeper cells and how many of them? He deflected. Yeah, I heard about it. It's crazy. Dumbass Joe Biden politicized.
But we know where most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think.
That's a lie. Y'all don't tap into my show for me to tell y'all some bullshit. Main man just said some bullshit. We know where they are. We got our eyes on all of them. Then it's not a sleeper cell. And if you did have your eyes on all of them and knew that they were sleeper cells, how the fuck are they still in existence? See, the issue here is to not let them fucking sleight of hand you. Don't let them sleight of hand you. Yeah, we heard about the sleeper cells. We know that they sleeper cells. We know where they all at. And we watching them. No, you're not. So you mean to tell me, you're telling me that you know where the sleeper cells are and they're bad people, but you didn't go get them. But now you're telling me that Maduro was such a bad guy that you went and sent the squad to go grab him and his wife. The Mexican dude, the other people, you killed all of the other people. You killed the whole leadership, the Iranian, the mullahs and huillas and woolas and wu-tangalas. You killed all of them, but you got Iranian sleeper cells in America. You know where they all at, and you ain't go to weasel on none of them. How does that make sense? Don't suspend your disbelief with government people. Question all of that shit. How does that make sense? We killed the leadership all the way over there. Then the second wave of dudes that we was thinking about inserting, we killed them too. We know where all of the sleeper cells are right here. But we just watching them and we know where they at. But they right here though. You ain't sniped them. Stop it. Do not suspend your disbelief when talking to anybody from the fucking government. Let's see what Trump got to say extra.
I think if it doesn't, they came in through the open border policies of Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst president in the history of our country. And we've got our eyes on all of them. But the war itself is being prosecuted at a level that nobody's seen before. It's pretty amazing to watch.
It's not amazing to watch, guys. It's not amazing to watch. It's a fucking war. It's a fucking war. And I want the White House and whatever one of you little fucking mopes that's running the White House X page, that's like posting about war like it's a fucking video game, like this shit is cool. You're remote. Whatever team that's over that doing that, you guys are absolute fucking morons. Absolute morons. And I say this as a person that understands the reality of real shit. I have never been in the military. I have never seen that level of combat and carnage. But the videos, pictures, and experiences that some of my homies have told me, I'm not interested in the shit. So I have the utmost respect for someone that goes and enlists and wants to actually defend America, that gets sent out to a war, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Operation Desert Storm, Iraqi Free, insert whatever. I have a level of respect for that person. I also don't, because I respect their courage, doesn't mean that I'm like, yeah, they soldiers, just go fight. No, you should be home building infrastructure with your fucking folks, or loving on your woman, or insert whatever thing. I'm not going to, because I understand what warrior mentality is and being willing to fight and kill for freedom and liberty, I'm not going to unnecessarily be like, yeah, throw the young men over there. That's fucking stupid. And I'm also not going to be the person that's like, some of you vet dudes that came home and you had friends die and you got a chip on your shoulder because you feel like you ain't get enough death back, you ain't get your lick back. You now trying to send young men back over there as if they're going to kill the exact motherfucker that killed your homie. Stop it. War is fucking hell. I say this all of the time. I've been in 3 shootouts. I don't even go, man, listen, I'm cool. I don't want no part of nothing. I want to de-escalate, avoid, and resolve conflict as much as possible. Because if somebody puts us in a position where it's me or you, I'm going home. But that's a position that we should not be putting people in, especially willy-nilly when there was no imminent threat to America. But we have all of this conversation about drones, sleeper cells. Yes, we know where they at. We went and killed these motherfuckers over here. But yeah, all of that, right? ABC says we don't really know if it's corroborated. Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, and now who else? Tucker. Let's see what Tuck got to say about it.
And what does it mean to win? Well, the most obvious and often repeated observation about this conflict is totally true. Iran's threshold for victory is very low. It just needs to survive. The regime has to remain intact. Now, in order to change the regime, everyone pretty much agrees you would need ground forces. You'd need troops, boots on the ground, American boots on the ground, in order to do that. And there is zero appetite for that in this administration, much less in the country. Israel would like us to commit ground troops, obviously, but it would take a lot to get us to do that. It would take some sort of terror attack in the United States, probably like 9/11, in order.
Coinky dink. It would take some sort of terror attack like 9/11. Because that's how you get Americans. When Americans feel like y'all fucked with us, when it's a little far and we started it, a lot of us still got our common sense. A lot of us is like, I don't fuck with them over there, but like, damn, we kind of did. Especially now that everybody's like, looks like we're beholden to the Israeli government. And I like to say Israeli government. Guys, here's a great talking point. Stop saying the Jews or Israel. Just say the Israeli government, because that's who's really doing it. It's not the rank and file people that live in Israel. The people that just is getting their shit bombed in Tel Aviv right now by Iran. I promise you, they are not the people that's like, yeah, let's go to war. I generally, fuck no. Okay? So say the Israeli government, and you get around that whole like, you're being anti-Semitic. It's like when I'm critical of the United States government, I'm clear when I say that. I don't trust and don't fuck with the United States government. I love the people of America. I've been across the country. I don't even know how many times at this point. I lost count. I find awesome people of different backgrounds every time I'm across in whatever city, state that I'm in. Sometimes I'm in Chicago. I don't want to be on O Block. I don't want to go to Harold's. Sometimes I'm in Chicago. I'm eating on the top floor, the restaurant of the Trump Tower, and I'm eating fucking food overlooking that green ass river. And it's a great time. It's what it is. I see great people all across here, but I don't think those great people are we're not sending our best as it relates to government. So, yes, the Israeli government, which in my opinion, let me go on a bit of a sidebar before we get back to Tucker Carlson here. Let me say this. If the United States pulls out, of of Iran, Israel is fucked. They're fucked. Y'all know that Israel's like smaller than New Jersey. Did y'all know that? Israel is fucked. Israel is the people that got beef with everybody over there. We the military might that always coming to bat for them, meaning United States military. But Israel is surrounded by Islamic nations that they've been fucking with for a very long time. So if the United States government falls back out of this, Israel is fucked. The people of Israel will be fucked. I don't know how long that dome could, you know what I mean? The Iron Dome. You guys are fucked. If Trump starts to looking at shit and go, oh, the American people now, fuck what he's saying on television. In them meetings, if the general public is like, nah. And he keep making back-to-back moves, like bad moves, like the move he made yesterday, endorsing this goofball-ass motherfucker in Kentucky over fucking Thomas Massey. And the people of Kentucky, when he said certain shit about Massey, was like quiet as church mice. If you keep making dumbass moves like that and the general public is falling back, Trump may decide to, all right, it was an operation. I told y'all it wasn't a war. Hey, Israeli government, we took out the top leaders of Iran. We took out their second wave. You guys got it from here. If that shit happens, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys are surrounded by Muslim nations that know that you put the battery in backs of other nations to do a lot of fighting for you, and you are smaller than the fucking state of New Jersey. You guys are fucked. In my opinion. I could be wrong. Let's get back to Tucker, though.
In order for us to do that. But that hasn't happened yet. We pray it never happens. So at this point...
Oh, listen, let's go back to what he said.
United States probably, like 9/11, obviously. But it would take a lot to get us to do that. It would take some sort of terror attack in the United States, probably, like 9/11, in order for us to do that. But that hasn't happened yet.
I've seen the like 9/11. Maybe some shit that they're going to do again.
We pray it never happens. So at this point, we're not going to commit ground troops, which does sort of put the whole exercise in perspective. If Iran's burgeoning nuclear program was really a threat to our core national security interests, then of course we would commit ground troops, because any threat to our core national security interests merits committing ground troops. But this one didn't. And the people who decided this were told, or believed somehow, that we could effect regime change from the air, because Iran was in a pre-revolutionary stage, and all we needed to do was like topple the head figure, like dominoes cascading. That would set off a chain reaction that installed a pro-Western government in Tehran. That was the argument. These arguments always seem ludicrous. In retrospect, you always laugh at them. Really? Did you really think that? Well, apparently we really did. But almost 2 weeks in, that has not happened. By the way, that would be a great outcome, because it would end the war.
That would end the war. It would end the war if that happened. But that's not what the fuck happened. Listen, guys, we're going to get wrapping up shortly, right? Let me say this. If you pay attention to history, if you pay attention to Middle Eastern conflict, if you're on antiwar.com, shouts to Scott Horton and those dudes over there doing a massive job of communicating this, right? But if you've meddled, again, I'm 97 years old. I remember in the 80s and 90s when people was like, peace in the Middle East. That was a slang term because there's been so much war, right? Now, mind you, this is on a certain level a 2,000-year-old beef. Not that the United States interests are currently based on that 2,000-year-old. We're Christians and they're whatever. Like, it's not that. But this has happened over there for however the fuck long. Okay? If you've paid attention to any of this, you've seen the unstable nature of this thing, and it bodes well for us to better handle this without being blackmailed by the Israeli government and without trying to strong arm the situation, because you're fighting against ideologues. You have the most powerful military in the world, and you got your ass handed to you for 2 decades by goat fuckers with sandals and old AKs. And if you think that they can't fight just because they didn't have the same level of military, their goat fucking and their sandals and their fucking AKs taught you a whole nother motherfucking lesson. And when you have any nominal understanding of that region, you just go, we might do better to just not be led into these things or blackmailed into these things. Some people believe that the Israeli government does that. Land where you want on that. But maybe we do better by just free trade and solid negotiations, which goes back to what Trump said about Obama years ago. Obama's going to get us in a war with Iran because of his horrible ability to negotiate. Well, what does that say about you now, President Trump? What the fuck happened to the art of the deal? Do business and trade, and you got a better number and a better situation, and you get a better price on the oil. This shit is just like the street. If I could tell you the reason why you should give it to me instead of them for this price, or I'm getting this many barrels or this many pounds, give it to me for this price. Or at a certain point, if it's too close for comfort, whoever you getting it from, let me go in with you and I pay what you pay and we get more together and we become partners. This is all the fucking same. Now, obviously, I'm not saying it's exactly the same. There's different levels of nuance. However, you buy low, you buy for one, you sell for two. You trying to take a corner that you're going to overextend yourself to be in that corner, and you're calling it morality, or you're calling it we not getting bullied or convinced to go in this by the Israeli government. Call it whatever the fuck you want. Well, we do know that this is a highly unstable 2,000-year-old beef region that you have not had any fucking success in. If you're mostly white, you're wrong. They are not going to view you as we should bow to white Christian dudes. That's not how that fucking section of the world operates. Sorry, guys. You're still trying to make this shit a thing. And now you've started us into something. And just like Tucker Carlson just said, it wouldn't even make sense if their nuclear situation was that deep. We would have, you know what I mean? It makes sense to go put boots on the ground. But by all intents and purposes, y'all said they didn't have it. 1 minute y'all saying you ain't got it like they ain't got it like that on a nuclear tip. The next minute, for 30, 50 years, they saying they 10 minutes away from the nuke option. The story's getting fucking old, man, and it's making me look like I'm a damn scholar in the Middle East. I'm not Scott Horton and them motherfuckers. Go to antiwar.com for more. But I'm starting to go, God damn, I'm the only one to see that this is cap. The reason why they can continue to convince the general public is because they use their media skillfully to make you think it's more complicated than it is. It's nuanced because of the time and those decades and generations and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of them going back and forth. But it's not as complicated with us. It's not our fucking fight, bro. If it's about conquest, maybe the goal is we pretend like we doing the bidding of the Israeli government. We get in, they're our allies. We do the heavy lifting, then we step back. Then the fucking Middle East eats the Israeli government. Maybe that's the 4D chess game. I don't know. But outside of that, I want to hear from y'all in the chat before we wrap up. In a perfect world, how does America come out on top in this scenario? Before we even go back to the sleeper cells potentially, or CIA fucking operatives, Manchurian candidates pretending to be fucking sleeper cell, whatever. Outside of those threats, ignore that for 1 second, right? Tell me in the chat, y'all, how currently, in the near or even distant future, do you see this war being a benefit for the American people? Not the military-industrial complex, because motherfuckers is buying war, tomahawks and shit. I mean, how do you feel that this is an actual benefit for the American people? And I'm not being facetious when I ask y'all that. I really want somebody to say, here's how we benefit. That we can't get from trade and negotiations and business. Violence does not beget money outside of selling weapons. Violence begets violence. That's called blowback, as the great Ron Paul has said for 40 fucking years. Okay? Tell me, outside of the business of war and the military-industrial complex, tell me what is a win and how that benefits the American people. Because right now, California's gas is like $8 a gallon. Not making that up. Kyrie Shadow says, the only way I see this benefiting us is if they go to Venezuela route and become our business partners. Okay. Do you think they will? After you just killed their supreme leader? Like, it's not even like just like a president. It's like the supreme leader of their religion type energy. So if you just killed their supreme leader, are they supposed to be like, all right, let's do business now? When the argument is they were just at negotiations 2 weeks ago before the attacks happened. Do you think they'll do that? We was at the negotiation table. You killed our supreme leader. You bombing us. We bombing y'all back. Now let's just sit down and do business together. I don't. Do y'all think that's gonna be the? You mean? Dark Lord Ambrosia says we the people don't benefit from this in any way. They'll use it to further erode individual liberty to the point that the Constitution no longer matters. So I was looking to me. Oh, we need another Patriot Act number 7. Terry says, there is absolutely zero benefit I can see the American people have in this situation. Here's where I think it could be. El Scaba says, at this point, I don't think there's a legit win. It's a lose-lose. They're just going to tell us they accomplished some shit to keep some shred of their ego intact. Keimer Shadow says, I'd imagine the families of the people who died protesting have no loyalty to the regime. Here's where I think it could be a win for us. Now, this is not morally upstanding. Kill everybody and control everything. That's the only way that this shit makes sense. Make Venezuela our business partner, i.e. bitch. Keep their Maduro as our hostage, because that's what he is. Right? Keep Maduro our hostage. We got that oil over there. We drill in America. Drill, baby, drill. And we kill everything and then make Israel get in line too. We control the fucking Hormuz like we control the Panama Canal now. If it's about domination and not morality, and we got to kill everything that is in opposition to us. We have to a win for America means we are Marlowe and his crew from The Wire. Kill everything moving. Get down to Junior Black Mafia shit. If you get down to lay down. Don't play this moral shit. Don't lie to the American people. We are Xerxes and the fucking Persian Empire now. Everybody get down. We got Venezuelan oil. We might lean on fucking Greenland if we feel like it. Kill everything. And then Netanyahu, you under our thumb now. That's what you got to do. Then the energy, the oil, China gets cut out. Listen, the proxy war conversation between us and China is not like lost on me. It's not lost on me. But you got to strong arm that shit. And you got to strong arm the shit and stop pretending like you're not strong arming that shit. That's the only way you're going to get the respect. Some people just not going to get the left. If it's Trump, it's just not going to be a thing. They just not. And it's cool. You got the House, the Senate, and the executive branch. You already fucking circumnavigating the Constitution to make the shit happen anyway. Be more gangster. Keimer Shadow says Marlowe did win in the end. Marlowe kept most of his money and didn't go to jail. Let's go. Let's see what some of the folks are saying. Big Rob says, off topic, Conda, you hear the Lakewood, New Jersey story, them straight killing the welfare system, make the Somalis in Minnesota. Yeah, I did. I want to do some content on that. Yeller Young says, are you seriously fool enough to think you can do that and survive? I don't know what you mean by that. Tell me what you mean, and I'll give you a response. If you're talking about the United States government playing war on different fronts, no. I think we are too fucking stretched thin. I'm just being very clear. I'm saying if that's what was happening and we won on all of those fronts, it almost feels like he playing 7 different moves on the chessboard at the same time. I thought that as soon as I seen him take Venezuela, snatch Maduro, right, and give them hope that we might let him come back, Maduro will probably never see Venezuela ever again, if he's still alive, right? But if we hide him, play hide and go seek with him and his lady, even if we send his lady back and, you know what I mean, have her as a liaison, that's gangster shit. So when I seen it, I was like, oh yeah, Iran is definitely happy. And this Turkey's going to be next. Let's be very clear about this. Turkey's going to be next. But if that's what you mean, I don't see the purpose unless I'm saying what a win looks like. If it's dominance based on violence and not morality and communicating that. Wild Celt says we don't have the industrial base to muscle it out. I don't think so either. I don't, man. Wars cost a lot of resources. They will be taxing the shit out of you. Y'all can't do this and be building data centers for Bitcoin and your central bank digital currencies all at the same time. You are stretched too thin, in my opinion. In my opinion, I could be wrong. I wasn't in the military. I could be wrong. I'm just telling you what I see. And I agree with that. Marlowe won by any means necessary, and he had the option to get up and relocate. Yeah. Our oceans are saving us to a certain extent. We can see you coming, NORAD and shit. We can see you coming from this side. We can see you coming from that side, right? D. Simp says it has to be a business deal for us to win. You just killed their supreme leader, and they're like, it's like God and then that dude in their eyes. I don't know if they want to do business at this point. Is that in opposition to their faith to do business? We've been screaming death to America for however long. Are they cool with being that contradictory looking? These are questions that need to be asked. Yeller Young says, I'm talking crap about taking over the planet by force. The question was, what does a potential win look like? The statement was not, we're definitely going to win because we're America and we always win. I don't subscribe to that. It's like a gun. It's like like you don't win a gunfight. You just survive them bitches. If you survive, you could die. So don't confuse me speaking hypotheticals as if A, this is something that I want, or B, that I think is smart, or C, that even if you do win across all of those fronts, you're going to have to send 200,000 motherfuckers to Iran. You're going to get massive casualties. Do I think that the IRGC and the BEJ and all of those guys are not going to also get involved? Fuck yeah, they are. Mercenaries, they're going to get involved. You're going to suffer massive casualties. That's what I think. But I'm saying what a win looks like if we did it that way. That's all. So it's not me talking crap saying I just said I don't want young men just going to go fight this war for a lie. I don't. Not sure how you missed that. Maybe you tapped in late. Who knows? Terry says Trump will bankrupt the United States like he has all of the business that he hasn't ran in this with purpose. Maybe. Anybody stacking precious metals? Lead. That's a great book. Albie Fresh says War is a Racket by Smedley D. Butler. I have that book. It's 1000% a great book. Dark Lord says income taxes were originally created in the United States to fund the Civil War. This is true. And we still went bankrupt. How we haven't done so yet with the constant war since WW1 is shocking. It's not shocking because your dollar has been devalued 96% since then. You like right at the precipice. They just keep printing and fucking putting Band-Aids on the wound. That's all. Listen, y'all. Here's the solution for us as solutionaries tonight as we wrap up. We went from somebody stole some drones to the FBI saying we heard Iran want to use some drones and blow shit up, to Ted Cruz and Donald Trump going, yeah, we got sleeper cells, to Tucker saying maybe a 9/11 event would get us boots on the ground. What we can do from this is to not be fearful. We can be prepared. If you believe in whatever God you serve, I always say this, pray and prepare or be afraid. Don't do both. If you're afraid, you don't believe in your God. You don't trust your God if you're afraid. Not saying that you're not like nervous around and you know what I mean? But like don't exist consistently in fear. That fear feeds them lower level energies. We ain't on that. What we're going to do as solutionaries is actually do things that helps us. I want you all to be a part of our community. How many of you have a Nest team? Subscribe to the channel, hit the link, hit likes and all of that, right? How many of you have a network of people that you can lean on in certain times? We have that community. How many of you have, and it gets tight at times, don't get me wrong. And when it gets tight, it's nothing better than to have somebody that can give you some information or some resources. I want every single one of you to be a member of our Solutionary 9 community. I do. But that might come later. What I can say for y'all is at least get the information. I want everybody to go over to GiveSend, Bookworm, put it on the screen, givesendgo.com/solutionary. Just go donate, guys. Take a class. This is what we're going to do tonight. Everybody that donates $50 or more, I'm going to email you back, and I'm going to say, because I'll have your email. I've spoken about this, whatever, on the shows. I'll have your email as soon as everybody donates, right? I'll have your email. It'll be me responding to you saying, yo, thanks for donating. What class do you want? If you donate at the $100 level, you get access to all of the classes. Stop the Bleed, Understanding Imminent Threat. Those two, based on what we're talking about right now tonight, every single one of you should have taken this class yesterday. So, Stop the Bleed, Understanding Imminent Threat, Civics, Firearms Basics, Know Your Rights by Jason Basler of the Free Thought Project. You have access to all of that transformative information so you become the person, head of household, member of household, that can share the information with that household that gets them a little bit more safe, secure, and prepared. Because that's what it's really about. We can talk about the potential of if the sleeper cells are Iranian and real, or if it's a false flag that real death happens, or if it was CIA or FBI or the deep state. We can talk about all of that. I would rather us be prepared just in case. One of those makes for good conversation, but it's only good conversation if you don't apply a solution to the scenario. I am not here. I work for y'all. I am not here to work for y'all just to tell y'all about shit so we could argue about the shit or beef or even just have a good back and forth. That's the first phase. The next phase is if this happens, we got to be prepared for this. If this happens, we got to be prepared for this. You need to be in a network of people. And that's another option. The Solutionary 9 community. All of that is different tiers to all of this. And there's a tier for everybody. I'm saying right now, tonight, there's 128 of you watching. 10 people to donate at the $100 level hits our highest fundraising goal from the show, right? That's that. And then the other thing is, all of you that are donating at that level get that lifetime access to all of those classes. So you're paying it forward for other people to take the Firearms Basics courses for free. That's one. Two, you're getting something to inform and empower yourself and your family. And for those of y'all that got it like that want to be a part of our community, that get direct coaching from me every day for the next 99 days to get you in tip-top physical shape, mental shape, all of those things, workout routines, all of that shit, there's an option for those people as well. But right now, I want everybody to go over to givesendgo.com/solutionary. It's on the screen. If you're watching this on X, it's my pinned post. Donate at whatever level you can, but I want 10 of you to donate at the $100 level, and I'm going to engage you all and get you onboarded into all of those classes. Talking and doing are different things. And sometimes you got to start doing and not engaging and talking as much. You tap into the show. We chop it up Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern for sure. I'll do the job of meticulously putting some of this stuff together to kind of like weave some of that together for y'all. That's my job. I work for y'all. But now we need your help to pay it forward for others, because there's people that are not watching the show tonight that are just walking around in big cities, New York, Texas, Vegas, West Coast, whatever, that don't see what we're having a conversation about, and they need to have their head on a fucking swivel. They need to be paying attention. And some of you are going to be $100 donors tonight, and you're going to pay it forward for those people that need this. We are a community. We are individuals that make up a community. And we got to look at it as such. And we got to take the information based on what's happening in the world, not be in a fear-mongering, fear-based mindset. Attract the good, the lesson, share that with others, pay it forward for others, and we all work together. Basically, we one hand washing the other, and both hands going to get together and wash the face. So, everybody, givesendgo.com/solutionary. I want to thank you all for tapping in tonight. When I save this, make sure you share it all over the place. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share it, repost it on X, and I appreciate you. Kymer Shadow says, thanks for the advice today, Maj. I'm going to move my med kit to the passenger seat. Absolutely. Guys, givesendgo.com/solutionary. Y'all got my emails. Y'all got my DMs. If y'all want to chop it up, I'm going to be up for a couple of more hours, engaging you all, and hopefully giving donor shouts for everybody that's supporting the actual work, paying it forward, and getting prepared. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same channel. Be safe, be solutioning.